Wow, wow, wow. It doesn't hurt me. Wow, wow. Do you wanna know it doesn't hurt me? Wow, wow, Be running up the hill. What does it say? Oh, be running up the road. Be running up that road. Be running up that hill. Be running up that building. 'Cause if I only could. Oh my gosh. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Welcome to your favorite show. I'm your host, Brighton, of the Brighten Your Day show, and I hope that this brightens your day as always. Turn off the news. Turn off anything else, and this is your favorite show. I will say that I'm getting over a sickness, and I have to say, I feel like every single person I know is sick right now. The holiday season brings cheer as well as a wheezy cough that won't go away no matter what you do. Um, and yeah, I've been drinking a lot of tea, been drinking a lot of coffee. I will say, I feel like it's like the remnants of it are still in my voice and my throat, and that is why I cannot sing. We're gonna blame it on that. Anyways, that song is going to kick off what we're talking about, which is obviously volume 2 of season 5 of Stranger Things. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know the ins and outs of what you guys think. I have a lot of thoughts. Simply, I don't exactly know how I'm going to approach these thoughts because I'm a little worried about how people are going to perceive the thoughts that I have on Stranger Things. So, first and foremost, I want to say I love Stranger Things. I think that it is a phenomenal show. I loved season 1, season 2. I think the actors are so good. Oh my gosh, back up. This is going to be a spoiler. We are going to cut this. Please, please don't watch this, obviously, unless you want to be spoiled. But I feel like Stranger Things has been very interesting lately, and I want to talk about a few things that have to do with it. Which, first, what I want to talk about is Jonathan and Nancy. I have to tell you guys, I don't know why it went completely over my head or I was struggling understanding this, but I did not realize that they broke up. Because when he was saying unproposal in that whole like gigantic scene and they were gonna melt or whatever, I thought what he was meaning is they thought they were going to die. And so when he was like, I'm gonna unpropose to you, it's like, haha, this is funny, but like we're gonna die and so there's no need to propose. And I also was like, yes, I understand what they're saying is like, oh, we thought marriage was just like a band-aid, and so that's why like he ended up not proposing, but I thought he was just letting her know because they thought they were going to die. I didn't think they were actually breaking up though. Am I the only one that thought that? Please let me know because my husband was 1,000% convinced that they broke up. And I understood what he was also saying too. So I think it was just a little bit of a miscommunication. And I feel like the acting was so sincere and so good that it almost was like, have we all been in too toxic of relationships to realize that there's like really beautiful, good mutual breakups that are like ending on good terms, ending with saying I love you, and we just all didn't realize that that could be the case of breaking up with someone is like actually ending on good terms, because I feel like that's exactly why I thought that. Um, oh yay, my package is on the way. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a new book. Anyways, so let me know if you guys thought the same thing, or am I just a dummy? I could very well be a dummy. I don't I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm the only one that did not realize that that was happening. Secondly, I want to talk about like the second half of the releases of season 5 because I feel like there's been a lot of themes and plots and things that have been happening that has happened over and over and over again. And so I think I was hoping for a little bit more of like an oomph in this season. Maybe a character dying, I don't know. Like it's bad. I don't think a character needs to die for it to be a good movie or a good TV show. But it's like it kind of feels like they just don't want to commit to a character death, even though that is like the natural order of things in the Stranger Things saga, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like there should have been a character death already, and I feel like they don't want to commit to it, so then they kind of made Eddie as like the scapegoat of a character death and had him die for like the satisfaction of a character death. That kind of came out wrong, but you know what I mean. Like, I saw this whole video. Maybe I'll tag it in the YouTube comments below because it was so good that this girl has a theory that Eddie was always supposed to be Jonathan, but the Duffer Brothers, or whoever, the writers, whoever is calling the shots, they were afraid of actually killing off Jonathan, like a main character. They were afraid of doing that, and so then they made Eddie up. But the entire time, Jonathan was supposed to be the one that dies in the end, and was supposed to be the one that was getting framed for killing that girl. I can't remember her name, the cheerleader. Also, I'm on YouTube, so, and Spotify. I hope I don't get to be demonetized for saying killing and death so many times. Maybe we're gonna bleep this out. But that makes sense to me. That makes actually so much sense to me that once I heard that, I couldn't unhear that and I couldn't unsee that in so many places in the series. So I just had to get that out there. Like, Jonathan is the loner. Jonathan's always had like the weird guy, the loner, and then it's like Eddie almost took the place as the weird guy and the loner. And also there's a lot of topics of a discussion of like there's too many characters in general. I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call right now. Hold on. Hello? Hi, you're currently on my podcast right now. And you're on the rotary phone. Do you want to say hello? I'm talking about Stranger Things right now. Actually, I have an idea. Wait, okay.
Like that weird grumbly voice that Joey Spires hears in the first season.
That's
where it's actually people calling, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually funny.
Will, is that you?
Will, is that you? Yeah, and I'm on a rotary phone right now. Okay, wait, listen. I want the audience, hopefully they can hear this. I want the audience to listen to what your thoughts were about the Nancy and Jonathan breakup. Did you think that it was very clear from the beginning? Talk loud.
Yeah, I think from my interpretation, they were absolutely breaking up in that scene, and I feel like it kind of makes sense because, I mean, I feel like they would have explained or should have explained a little bit clearer why they were breaking up, because to me it seems like it was just because of their shared trauma and they're like just together, just to be together type of thing. But I've always shipped Steve and Nancy from the very beginning, so I'm okay with it.
Really? So you ship Steve and Nancy over Jonathan and Nancy?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and it's not even a competition. I don't really like Jonathan that much.
Okay, honestly, my thought with Jonathan is that he was supposed to have way bigger of a part, because he was like a big character in the beginning. When we rewatched the other seasons, he was like so cool and lovable, and like, and I feel like they kind of just scrapped him to the side. So I feel like I'm starting to be a Steve stan too, but I used to be a huge, like, I understand being a Jonathan stan. I feel like they just kind of scrapped him, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think Jonathan's a good older brother to Will, of course.
True.
I think he's a great guy. What's that?
I said true.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was cutting out.
You're in.
Yeah, I think Jonathan is a great older brother to Will. I think he's a great guy. I just think there was more of a love interest and people wanted to see more of Steve and Nancy.
I do too.
Rather than more of Jonathan and Nancy. And at least that's my opinion on the matter.
No.
I think the breakup scene was done pretty well. I saw a comment actually that they should have died that scene and that would have like wrapped up their character arcs well. So what do you think about that?
Ooh, could you imagine actually? That would be insane. Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to hold this mic next to my freaking hand. If they died during the melting scene, I don't know, it makes sense. I was just talking about how I feel like the writers have been way too afraid to kill off any character that was supposed to be killed off, and so that now there's way too many characters for the screen time that they have. And so they have like a big problem of like they don't have a lot of depth in any characters because they have to have so much screen time for so many characters. And so in a way it's like, yeah, I feel like there is a due death, character death or deaths, you know?
Yes. A lot of people think that it's gonna be Steve.
I know.
And we're both.
I know, and when they said, "Well, you like if you die, I die," I feel like that was kind of a little bit of foreshadow, and now I'm scared.
Yeah, it has to be. Especially because of Eddie and
Yeah,
Justin. Like, um, I don't know if the Stranger Things universe like thinks you're gonna see people on the other side again, but that could be a whole
mm,
thing
interesting.
where,
No,
yeah, Dustin and Eddie get to reunite.
huh? That it would be interesting, actually. Huh? You know, and I do you remember when I was telling you about that video I watched about how Eddie was actually supposed to be Jonathan, but they were afraid to kill off Jonathan. But Jonathan makes sense because he is the archetype of the loner kid that everyone always bullied anyways and saw on like of the outside of all of the cool kids and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think they could have made that pretty cool if they had made Jonathan more involved in like the D&D stuff. That's from the very
Yeah.
beginning. He wasn't really like playing that with them at the get-go.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't a part of the Hellfire Club and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you for your thank you for your thoughts, Sir Preston. I actually really appreciated your call on the Stranger Things matter because I was going to talk about that anyways by myself, but I would rather hear your opinion.
You're welcome, and I've been doing an obscene amount of doom scrolling, and my full feed is Stranger Things stuff, so I could talk about it forever.
Absolutely. Okay, and text me about the other stuff, okay, babe?
Okay, love you, bye.
Okay, love you. Bye. Y'all, sorry, I got a freaking a call in on my show. I got a call in, a caller, you know? That was actually interesting. I feel like that makes sense. Could you imagine if Jonathan and Nancy died? I feel like that would be so big that people would not know how to handle themselves, literally whatsoever. I don't even know if I would like that or not. I don't know. I don't know. And then should we talk about the elephant in the room? Will's ending scene, the coming out scene. Now, I want to be careful in the way I word this because I've seen a lot of stuff that is super like homophobic when it comes to Will's coming out scene, and that's the reason why they didn't like it. But then I've also seen completely understandable criticism of the scene, and I am of the side that I feel like it could have been done a little bit better. I don't feel like the timing made sense for him to come out to like 30 people that he has like no connection or chemistry with. And so it did leave me feeling kind of high and dry. Like it was supposed to be a huge emotional scene and like feeling some sort of emotional payoff because they've been foreshadowing him doing this for a while. But I feel like I couldn't get into it. Something was off. And it was kind of like, hey, the world is ending, Vegna's gonna do all of this stuff, but hold on, like, let me tell you I'm gay. And like, it just seemed like in terms of priorities, it was a little off. And now I totally understand the premise of like, Vecna showed him all of these visions apparently about him kind of losing his friends over him like coming out and so he was fearful, which was blocking him from like using his powers to like the full potential or whatever. Like I understand. I think that's interesting and I think that that is cool. I believe that it could have been different and it should have been different. I feel like it would have been cool if Will was with maybe Joyce and Jonathan and Mike only and it was like maybe Will was really struggling or he was trying to save the world and he couldn't and they didn't know why and so they were trying to get through to him and so then he needed to like tell them or something, and it was like a more intimate setting. But I don't know. It really didn't land, and I feel like it didn't land with a lot of people, which then people are being called like homophobic, and I'm like, no, I don't. It's not the case. At least it's not the case for me, because I'll tell you why. The Robin coming out scene to Steve is actually one of my favorite scenes in all of Stranger Things, at least the newer Stranger Things. I think they did it so incredibly well. It was so creative in the way that they did it. I feel like the acting was phenomenal. Just the writing, it was great, and it was intimate, and it was just her and Steve. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I believe in the writers. I believe in the Duffer Brothers that they could have done something really amazing, and they have done stuff that is really amazing. And I have to end with this. Like, every time I see art in any way being torn apart, I always feel a little bad, like, kind of adding on to the dog pile, because I think about all these actors and the Duffer Brothers and the directors and the cameramen and all of the people that are, like, coming together to make this thing. And I think about, like, all of the hard work that they did, and then imagine being them during this time when the internet is completely against you, and you thought it was good, and you tried your hardest to do what you could do for the show, and then it just gets like completely shit on. Like, I think art is obviously subjective, and I think that, like, Stranger Things as a whole isn't ruined because of certain scenes that I feel like should have been done a different way or could have been done a different way, and who am I to say even what they should have done. But yeah, I still love Stranger Things, and I will say I have tickets to the theater showing on New Year's Eve, and I'm excited because I am pre-recording this, just so you know. So if I post this after New Year's Eve, Happy New Year! It's 2026, which is insane. But future me will tell you what I think about this showing, because I'm a little nervous, but I'm also so excited. And I have to say, them putting the finale of Stranger Things in the movie theaters is one of the coolest things that I've seen in my lifetime when it comes to the cinema, the theater. I feel like the theaters have been struggling, the movie theaters, and I don't want to see that happen. I love the movie theaters, and I love good movies, and I love that they're trying to, like, revive it and do something new and bring streaming and theaters together. I like it. I think that's a good idea. Whoever came up with that idea, kudos. Kudos to you. I loved it. Anyways, I feel like this is a good transition. A great transition to 2026 and the new year. And if you are like me, you kind of feel a little bit nervous about the new year. It kind of gives you feelings of disappointment if nothing happened in the new year. It kind of gives you just no motivation whatsoever, because I truly believe that the new year is supposed to be in, like, spring. I don't believe the new year is supposed to be in the dead of winter. It makes no sense to me. That's where dreams go to die, is in the dead of winter. Why am I building a mood board when it's 23 degrees outside and I've gained 10 pounds and I have acne from freaking eating all this junk food? Why am I building my future when I feel like all I want to do is sleep for 12 hours a day, because all I see the sun, I only see the sun for 20 minutes a day, and then it just poof leaves. I don't know. I don't feel like New Year's was supposed to be in the dead of winter. I really don't. I was even looking at I was looking into this, and I was looking at certain heritages and cultures and people that celebrate the New Year's in spring. And they have, like, spring festivals, because that's when the crops are going to start growing. And that's when you're planting, and, like, it warms up and things get happy again. Like, it just makes, I don't know, it makes no sense to me. Why would you do that? Why, like, or at least that spring makes more sense to me than winter. I don't know. I have to say. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Also, I am literally so parched. I feel like I've been coughing, and you can hear it in my throat. I'm hoarse. I'm a hoarse girl. Ugh. Okay. But what I wanted to talk about is what I do for the new year. You may have your own rituals. or own practices or things that you do, or you may just absolutely dread it. But what I want to do is speak to the person that dreads the new year like I do and speak to you about ways that I actually am able to get excited about the new year and practices that I do and all of these things. So it's going to be kind of in 4 parts or 4 kind of things you can do. You can do all of them or you can do one of them. It's totally up to you. I'm not really a self-help girly. I feel like I used to talk all about like routines and stuff like that, and then I stopped. But I will say this helped me a lot. So, 1, this is what you do to have a good 2026. My sister actually told me to start doing this because she was the one that started doing it, and I love it, and so I'm going to share it to you. First, pick a word of the year. It has to be something that obviously means something. It has to be something that's usually like a lesson that you're wanting to learn. So my word of the year in 2023 was stillness, because I was trying to learn how to be still within myself, how to meditate more, how to connect within myself. And yeah, I feel like that was a huge lesson, and it was actually from this book that I had read from Ryan Holiday called Stillness is the Key. So first, pick a word of the year. I love this practice so much. You can use thesaurus for synonyms if you like have a generic word but you want a cooler word. So that's how I found my word of the year this last year, resolute, which means admirably purposeful and determined or unwavering in a pursuit. Because I feel like for me it was about my content, and I felt like I knew what I needed to do, but it was just about doing it, and it was a year of action and just doing the thing. But I didn't know the word really resolute until I was adding synonym words into thesaurus, or there's another one called like word hippo. And then it popped up resolute, and I don't know, it was just the vibe of the word, the vibe of even the sound of the word I really liked. So yeah, that was my word of the year. This year, my word of the year is star. There's a really deep meaning behind this word of the year, and I feel like 2026 is gonna be my year. I really do. But it's kind of like shining brightly, not being worried about what other people think, just truly radiating light and knowing internally that I am a star. Yeah, I really like it. So I even make these little like tags that I put on my journal. Oh, maybe I should show you. Should I show you? Okay, quick intermission. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry, quick intermission. So sometimes what I do is I will print off my word of the year and put it on these little jewelry tags. And right now I put it on my traveler's journal, but usually I'll wear them as a necklace as a reminder. So this is my necklace now that I got for Christmas. And it's a sun / a star, which is very Brighton and very me, and I love it. But anyways, I will decorate this. But yeah, word of the year for 2026, I really recommend doing that and then adding a reminder of some sort that, it'll remind you of the lesson that you're wanting to learn. Okay, secondly, vision board. Again, this is from my same sister, Kinley's Lane is her Instagram handle, as well as I believe her YouTube. She taught me how to like go absolutely ham as a vision board, but you can do anything you want. Some tips that I will say is you can add photos and pictures of yourself. Now, you can add photos from previously where you felt really good in your skin, where you feel like you were lively, or it was an emotion that you haven't like cultivated yet. But it was like that one day was feeling good, because I feel like the more personable you can get it, the better. Because if you're just trying to add other random people's pictures, it doesn't add as much oomph as it does if it's you. And so like this last year on my vision board, I put me hiking because one of my goals was to hike again. So it was like the one time that I had went hiking, I put that on my vision board because it made more sense that way. Now, did I add like other girls with friends hiking because I wanted to hike with like friends and stuff? Yes, but like it was really cool to see me up there too. Another thing is like also just finding people that look like you. So it's like if you're trying to get healthier and lose weight or whatever you're trying to do, it's like pick a realistic goal, like a person that looks like you, that has your same stature. Like I could never be an 100-pound girl, like I couldn't. It wouldn't be healthy for me. I mean, probably not healthy for other people too, unless you are pretty short, but I digress. It's just like I chose women that looked strong and looked like me, or like looked what I could look like, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, I love that. And also like choose words for your vision board. Like you put your word of the year, choose phrases. Like I put bold and all these other things. I put a spirit animal there because I love spirit animals. It just, you can do anything with it, but make it very personable and make it so when you look at it you feel something, because that's the whole point, is feeling something when you look at it. Or or you're just like making a scrapbook for no reason. Like if you don't feel it when you look at it, there's no point, because the whole point is to feel it and then you become it because your vibration raises. Anyways, um let's think. Word of the year, vision board. um there is a practice that I haven't done, but I've been sitting with for a while, and that is misogi, choosing a misogi. So misogi, I believe, is a Japanese term, but I got this from this entrepreneur guy named Jesse Itzler, and he talks about choosing a misogi each year, and it is choosing one big goal a year instead of like 20 New Year's resolutions or whatever. Choose one big goal that you're almost thinking that you won't be able to achieve. So something like writing a book, something like running a marathon or an ultra marathon, or I don't know. It could be absolutely anything, but it has to stretch you. It has to really stretch you. And I feel like I liked this idea because it chooses a one pointed focus instead of so many things. Because I am very much like a multi hyphenated person. Like I am multi interested in so many different things. But I do understand the practice of like going towards one thing super, super strongly. I haven't chosen Misogi for this year. I didn't choose really a Misogi for last year. I thought it was going to be run a marathon, and then I literally just didn't want to do it anymore. I just couldn't. I'm sorry, but yeah, I loved the practice, and I thought that that was a really cool idea. If you want to look, I'm pretty sure Jesse Itzler has videos on like how to choose your Misogi and stuff. And he also does like live events and stuff, which I think is cool. Okay, lastly, this is something that I have got from my mother. She is obsessed with these things called traveler's journals, but this is something I'm doing for 2026 to really, really lock in the new year and kind of my structure for the new year. Because if you're anything like me, you might be a little ADHD, or you might be a little unorganized or scatterbrained, and finding a system will really help you, even if it looks like a messy system to someone else. If the system works for you, that is what matters. So these are really highly personal to you. And so they're called traveler's notebooks. I wanted to show you this one today because my mom got it for me, and this is going to be my everyday carry, I think, even though it's really thick right now. And something that I absolutely love about traveler's journals is that you can have as many as you want, or you can have one and put inserts. Because if you don't know what they are basically like a leather cover that you can put multiple books within and then close it. So it travels around with you. There's pocket-sized ones. There's huge ones. This is an A5 size. I got this, or my mom actually got this from this lady who does like custom artwork on the piece of leather. It's so beautiful. But anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up for 2026 is because I am wanting to go more analog. I am sick of the digital space that I've been a part of, which is funny because I know that I am filming this right now, but I believe my brain does best when I am analog with my thoughts, meaning when I am journaling more, when I'm having a physical planner, all of those things, my brain feels slower and more clear, slower in a good way and more clear. So I'm going to be carrying a physical planner in this. So when you open it up, I won one of my New Year's resolutions, which I have very few because I believe it should be, I don't know. I don't believe in having like tons of New Year's resolutions or all these things. Like I want it to be attainable, but I've been building on this for years. So one of my New Year's resolutions is just maintain reading and read more of my books. I actually started a book club this last year. If you guys have listened to my other podcasts, like you know that. But so this is my personal book that I'm going to be carrying around with me in my traveler's notebook. This is Shadow of the Wind. It's really, really good so far. I actually love it. But then after that, it's my planner, okay? My physical analog planner, okay? And then after that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard about a commonplace notebook, but it's anything that you're consuming, any media, any thought that you have while you're on the go, put it into this bad boy. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can be seriously the most simple quote you heard, the thought, your grocery list. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, I feel like this system is going to work very well for me. It already has actually worked very, very well for me. I really, really like it. So I encourage you to get even a pocket notebook, a tiny planner. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I think the world is so digital, and we need to get back to some of the roots as to why analog is better than digital, you know? I think there's good in both, but there's nothing better than writing on paper and reading physical books. There really isn't. It just makes you feel so grounded and close to the earth. Anyways, I feel like I just threw up on you when it comes to preparing your year, but yeah, I wanted this to be kind of like a inspirational, a aspirational podcast of like actionable things to do. I would love to know your tips and tricks as to how you prepare for the new year, because I don't know, I think people would enjoy it. So drop it in the comments below, not for me, but for other people to learn from you about what you do. And yeah, let me know what you think about Stranger Things. I'm really excited to see the finale. I don't know how I feel about the other episodes in season 5. It's been pretty crazy. Yeah, I also have I have a playlist for you for When the Air Gets Crisp is what it's called. I will tag that also below. I think I'm gonna start revamping a 2026 playlist too. So maybe I'll add the Kate Bush song I was singing in the beginning. If I only could make a deal with God, get on to harder places. And that's it. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope this brightened your day and your year, and happy 2026. Let's see what happens. Bye. If I only could